Jim Miller. He won in UFC 100. He won in UFC 200. Is he going to win in UFC 300?
I definitely believe so because he's going up against Bobby Green. And no disrespect to Bobby Green, but I think it's a pretty good prime matchup for him to be able to capitalize on to keep that streak going. Jim Miller is one of the rare examples in MMA of a guy who is 40 years of age, actual fucking age. So Jim Miller's 40 years old, straight up, August 30th, 1983, 40. And he is still going strong. There needs to be a fucking scientific study done in the combat sports MMA community about Jim Miller because even though he's staying way past his prime, he's aging like a fine wine. And he's still competitive even in fights that he's lost, and he has not looked terrible, which is more that can be said for a lot of these fucking guys who in finger quotations were supposed to be the superior fighters, the superior athletes, etc., whose careers have not lasted nearly as long as his, who've started to look like shit way earlier than him. So kudos to him. The man has a fucking stellar career. 37 wins, 17 losses, 0 draws, 1 no contest. That's pretty fucking impressive. And shout out to Bobby Green. 31 wins, 15 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest. Another equally long, storied, good career here. But I just feel like Jim Miller's coming off the biggest momentum. Killed a young, promising guy in the lightweight division, Gabriel Benitez, subbed him around 3. KO TKO Jesse Butler, just like the reverse Leonardo DiCaprio. He's killing all the young fuckers, you know? All the young people, he's just out there murking them and shit while he's like 40 years old, just fucking killing them. Put Donald Cerrone out to pasture 2 years ago with the sub. One of those guys that pretty much proves my point. 36 wins, 17 losses, no draws, 2 no contests. Don Cerrone had been around a while, but his game started to fucking age like milk way quicker than Jim Miller's ever did. And Cerrone's been retired for a few years now. Once again, no disrespect to Cerrone and all that fun shit, but you get the point. So yeah, KO TKO over Nicholas Mata. The dude's doing pretty well for himself. I'm actually trying to figure out when the last time he fucking lost was at this point because I'm a little surprised by what I'm seeing. And he lost a fucking fight. I'm actually shocked. I didn't know this until I just looked it up. He actually hasn't lost since 2021 when Joe Selecki took him to decision. So it's not even like he got finished. But he himself has been finishing motherfuckers since 2021 on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fight fucking finish streak. I have to go back and double check. This is interesting. Damn, I didn't know it was like that. Yeah, 5 fight finish streak, stretching back to 2021. And Bobby Green, once again, good fighter, a legend in his own right, but just got KO TKO'd in round 1 last December by Jalen Turner, the guy we just talked about. Beat Grant Dawson. I'm trying not to be too salty about that because I'm a Grant Dawson guy. I don't want to say it's a fluke, so I'm not going to say that. That's too disrespectful. But he KO TKO'd him in round 1, 33 seconds into it. Before that, Drew Dober in 2022 KO TKO'd him in round 2. Islam Makhachev round 1 KO. Then he beat Nasrat Haqparast. All this to say, this is another one of those fights where I'm like, why is Bobby Green minus 185? Why is Jim Miller plus 154? What am I missing here? What am I not seeing? What am I not getting? Tell me why. Ain't nothing, but tell me something. Tell me what I'm missing. Why? Why is Bobby Green minus 185? Why is Jim Miller plus 154? Cue the fucking Jeopardy music. Somebody think about this and then answer it in the form of a question because I got no fucking clue. The only thing I can think of is some conspiracy theory shit. So all that being said, Jim Miller plus 154, that's a pretty damn good value. And unless there's going to be, what's his nuts, James Krause back there handing fucking betting slips over to people like this is fucking Lord Voldemort assembling the fucking Death Eaters or something, trying to get his army of little fucking insider betting information fucks running around. I see no reason to get off Jim Miller at plus 154. And I don't know that he can keep up the 5 fight finish streak and turn it into 6. Maybe that's a little too ballsy. So I'll just once again, I'll keep it minty, catch my drift, and do a plus 154 money line.
Man, I'm looking right now. Money is moving crazy on Bobby. Like, I'm watching it on my phone. Bobby Green, it's got all the way down in some places to 157 and up as high as 190. And nobody knows what to do with this fight. And then you would think, like, look at the betting splits, it's 53% to 47%, but 79% of the money is coming on Bobby Green. Very, very interesting. What's that?
You want some Southern wisdom from my auntie?
Let's hear it.
Baby, a fool and his money are easily parted, honey.
Bobby Green KO'd by Drew Dober, who just got lay and prayed by Moicano. Turner, who we have losing to Moicano here coming up, which, I mean, props to Moicano, but I don't think either of those guys are really killers. Lazy defense, which will lend him to getting knocked out. Jim Miller, tough in all aspects, just an incredibly tough guy. I'm surprised you didn't use the term glass cannon with Bobby Green, because that is like your term, man. That's exactly what he is. I'm on Jim Miller 100%. Too. I think Jim Miller goes 3-0 on the UFC 100, 200, and 300. I feel pretty good.
I hope he calls it quits after that, though. That'd be a storybook ending.
On like the biggest card of all time.
Right. Maybe since he's smart enough to know when to call it quits and when to hang around, and he is very fortunate and smart enough to have his career this successful this long. Maybe he'll also be like the first real example, other than Robbie Lawler. I got to give Robbie credit, too, for ending it on a high note and so far sticking to that, because that's very fucking rare, even when you end on a win in MMA, like to stay retired. Maybe Jim Miller would do that. I mean, fuck, Chris Curtis couldn't stay retired, and he's retired literally 6 fucking times. He's like BJ Penn, except possibly shittier. And BJ Penn's getting knocked out in bars by 350-pound Samoans. So
you better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Listen in and cash out. That's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spots from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast. Better in Green.